right, we are live.
We are live. Oh my goodness. Listen, this has been a faith over fear journey for me. That's all I'm going to say because my audience knows that I am not friends with technology. So I'm so glad to have my special guest today, Trini, with me, who has been able to kind of navigate this and chill my nerves out a little before we get started today. All right, so let's get into it. For those of you who may be new to my channel, and for Trini's audience, hey, thanks for joining us. I am Diamond Crystal, also known as the Gallivanting Grandma. I am a global nomad, a 5-star international house sitter, an intentional connector, and a travel ambassador for Black women 55 and over who are entering a new life's journey with grace and ease. I'm going to add a new one today. Journey strategist, because I help people to navigate this new journey. And I'm so glad to have a special guest, Trini. Trini, be blog tripping. Introduce yourself to my audience.
What's going on, y'all? I do go by Trini. My channel is Vlog Tripping. You could actually go to vlogtripping.com. You could say vlog, you could say vlog. It doesn't matter. I am a traveler. I guess that's a good way. I'm a traveler of sorts. I've been to, I don't really like to travel count, but last year I've been to at least 11 countries. I think this year I'm at 4. You could check out my travel channel, vlogtripping.com, vlogtripping at Yahoo, not Yahoo, vlogtripping at YouTube. And let's see, what else? I gotta practice my intros. But yeah, this is me, this is my channel, this is my life. I am a nationalized American citizen. I was born in Trinidad. Shout out to my Trinidadians. But
to the Caribbean.
Yes, shout out to the Caribbean. That is our brothers and sisters. I live most of my adult life, educated, work, pay taxes in America.
That part.
I do consider myself Caribbean American. And I have a travel YouTube channel, and I think I've traveled a lot of places to share my knowledge on especially Black men in particular. Definitely promoting Black men. For whatever reason you decide to travel, I'm with you 100%.
And
Black men
is why. Yes, that is why I wanted to have you here today.
For sure. Yeah.
Listen, my audience knows I speak generally to the phenomenal sisters that I meet along this international journey, right? But I said in my introduction that I'm an intentional connector. And you and I connected on social media, on an Expat app, and that's the name of it, Expat. So shout out to Shara Winter for pulling together such an amazing platform for us to communicate with one another. I saw your information and I was like, wait a minute, Brothas Speak, that's my new series. And you are brother number 2 who's on my channel. So for all the sisters, yes, brothers got something to say. International travel is not just, it seems like it's being led by Black women at this time, but really the brothers are out in these international streets. They are out there. And we want to talk to them because their experience is probably a little bit different than ours has been. So what was the first step that you took when you decided you wanted to start traveling abroad?
You know what? Lots of research. Being that, having my passport is not new to me. And I know for a lot of people in the States, passport is their number one, their first step.
That's right.
And, being that when you go through a naturalization process, some people may not know, you have to give up sometimes your foreign passport. So being that I came here as a minor, I had to give the United States my Trinidadian passport, and I did not want to do that at all.
I don't blame you.
So the day I got naturalized, they give you this naturalization certificate, and then I have to now give that to the post office to get my new American passport. And that alone is also terrifying for anyone who's ever immigrated or did any type of residency. So you just got this document saying that you're a legal citizen, and now you have to send it.
You got to release it. You got to relinquish it.
And because I know I love to travel, I did that on day 1. So I have my certificate for maybe an hour before I went to the post office and shipped it off to get my passport. So
right.
passport is number one, and number
Mhm.
two would be research. You definitely want to do a lot of Googling. You want to do a lot of YouTubes. You want to get an idea. You want to look up the location on Google Maps. You want to look at Airbnbs.
Yeah.
You want to talk to people. I think probably should be higher than Google searches. Talk to people that actually been there. You know?
That part. And that is why, I try to bring on guests who have experience in different countries, right? Because until you've walked the walk, you really can't say anything about it because it is a life-changing experience. I don't know if you felt that way when you finally got that passport back and you were able to get out there in those streets. It's life-changing. And what I heard you say is do your due diligence. And I say that to my audience all the time. Just because somebody has some slick IG posts up does not mean that they've been there, number one. And second of all, that may not be your experience. So you really have to do your homework, as you said. Where was the first place you set out for?
First place, man. It probably was to go back to Trinidad. So I'm
Okay.
really trying to think where did I go after that? I think more. I think more of a I would say substantial trip was when I went to Europe for the first time.
Okay, what part of Europe? Because I just this year did my whole 90 days in the first like 6 months of the year. 90 of that was done between Spain and Portugal. I love the EU. Where were you?
So the first trip I did was to England.
Okay.
Well, that was not my first travel trip. I have to check my passport because I have traveled even underage, even younger.
Wait a
I've
minute. He
traveled.
said I gotta check my passport. Let me
Yeah,
check my
I gotta check
stamps to see
the
what.
old passport, and I gotta check the Trinidadian passport because I end up getting another Trinidadian passport. But I think the one that really kicked it off for me is when I went to UK, and then
Okay.
on that trip to UK, I was able to go to France. I took like the underground car train. Did you take the bus and the bus goes in the train and the train goes to France? So those two, I think that just really kicked off my I need to go everywhere now. Like
Everywhere.
it's not just for vacation and going to going to Mexico and stuff like that. It was like no, I need to go places where unfortunately most people like us don't go, or most
Yeah.
people may not have the resources to go. So that was
Right.
my
Right.
aim after that.
Okay, okay. And let's just stay right there for a second because I don't think that people who have not had this international travel experience, they really don't understand how easy and uncumbersome it is to travel once you get into the EU or the UK. I mean, once you land in London or you land in Madrid, it's so easy to navigate through, like you said, inexpensive buses, trains, just getting around. So once you go there, I say you got to maximize that initial ticket. That's what I tell people all the time. Wherever you land, plan around that. And if you get 90 days in the EU, shoot, they kicked me out I got out at day 89, man. I was like, all right, I don't want no problems with my passport, so let me hop a ferry from the south of Spain over to Morocco. Right. And so I was still, I made my 90 days, but that was $35. You see what I'm saying? From one country to a whole nother country where I got a stamp on that in that passport for Morocco, and it was like on and popping for the next 45 days.
Wow, I never knew that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it is amazing. It is fantastic to be able to get around so inexpensively, like I said, once you land. And I don't know, everybody's not a global nomad like I am and have the
Right.
time and flexibility or ability to live outside your suitcase all the time. But I'm an international house sitter, so I love it. Have you ever considered house sitting? Is that something that was,
You
on your
know what?
radar?
I think one of the reasons I reached out to because of that, because I have a friend that she travels, and she actually did her first house sit that same weekend that we spoke, and she was house sitting locally in New Jersey,
Okay.
and but she also had to pet sit, and I
Yes,
think
that's a big part of it.
for me as someone who I wouldn't say don't dislike pets, but I
Yeah.
don't think I'll be good just meeting random pets.
Okay. Okay. Random.
Right. And she also had to like video chat the owner
Uh-huh.
and stay on a schedule, and that wouldn't, I don't think that would work well for me, as
Okay.
someone. But I think for other people it would work well for, and
Hmm.
she's doing very well with it.
Good.
But probably not for me, but I think it's a great way, very creative way actually, and
I
cost
say
effective.
there's a million ways to reach your goals. House sitting is one of them. And your apprehension around pets is not something that I don't hear all the time. I want to house sit, but I don't want pet responsibilities. Let me
Right.
just say that I have a Facebook group of 1,400 women strong who, many of them only water the plants and take in the mail. So
Wow.
all house sits are not created equal, and there are not pet responsibilities for everyone. The beautiful thing about being on the platform that the majority of the sisters in that group utilize, trusted house sitters, is that you get to pick and choose whether or not you want a pet. So you filter it out. If you don't want a pet, and you know that you're going to the EU, to the EU, to the UK, then you filter it that way, and you only apply to sits that meet your criteria. Now, I'm on a house sit for 30 days here in Barbados, and can I say it's hella hot? It's hella hot here in Barbados, but I'll take it because when else could I visit the country for a whole month and not have to pay for accommodations?
Wow,
So
that's
I'll feed the
amazing.
dogs, and I'll make sure that the cat litter is, clean every couple of days, because then I'm out in these streets, I'm at the beach, I'm at the reggae shows, I'm doing what I do because I'm the gallivanting grandma. So it does not hinder what I want to do. So, like I said, all sits are not created equal.
Good, good. I mean, that's amazing. I think that's something that myself maybe need to take a second look at, and for
Uh-huh.
people who don't know about it to really, look at it as well and see if this might be an option for them to travel. Because
Absolutely.
another thing I read, especially in the Caribbean, being I'm from
Hmm.
Caribbean, it's hell of expensive.
Oh my.
Some Sometimes people ask me like, "Hey, why don't you go to such and such country?" I'm like, "Bro, when I look at my cost return
Yeah.
calculator, I'm like, I'm better off going to Europe or even
Yep.
going to Asia than sometimes going right there to Jamaica sometimes." So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what makes sense for you financially? Hmm.
That's right. That's right. And I think people don't realize that, you're going to island countries. So almost everything is imported, right? So if you're not eating what's in season and locally grown from the local markets and the local farmers, if you have to pay for accommodations, hotels are expensive because electricity is expensive, and you don't want to be here without air conditioning. That's not how you want to roll, right? So, I mean, on average, for let's say a four-star hotel here in Barbados, you're talking about $150 a night.
Mm.
And I'm here for a month for free. Yeah, I feed the dog. I do that. But yeah, going to the islands can be very cost prohibitive for that reason. So I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. Yeah. So speaking of that, do you prefer budget, luxury, or a combination of both when you travel?
I'm definitely more on the high mid range.
High
For
mid
me,
range. All right. What
yeah,
that
yeah,
mean?
yeah. Where it to me, it's like it needs to be, what's the word? Equal or better than how I stay in the States.
Yeah.
So if there's I need AC, I need Wi-Fi, I need
Non-negotiable.
I need a big TV, and I need hot water.
Okay. That's a
I need
thing.
hot
That's a
water
thing.
shower. So if I don't get those four, I put it on Airbnb. If I don't get those four, I ain't even gonna keep looking at it. I'm on
Yeah.
to the next.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that, because there are certain things in the United States that we take for granted, like hot water, like air conditioning, and like, small things like washcloths. I mean, that's not a thing everywhere you go. So you have to do your due diligence and find out whether or not, yes, it has hot water. It may say hot water only in the kitchen, so you definitely have to do your investigation. Otherwise, you're going to be disappointed with your experience. And who wants to spend money and be disappointed when they get there, right? But
Right.
manage your expectations based on the homework that you've already done. And everybody ain't going to tell you this stuff. Like, I saw on one of the Facebook posts, one lady was complaining because she had to go out and find washcloths. And I'm like, well, do your due diligence, talk to people who've been there. That's not a thing. So,
Right.
yeah. So you say in between, high end, but those are your non-negotiables.
Yeah. Once I get those, I'm happy.
Yeah.
If I get those 4 things, everything else, it doesn't matter to me.
Okay. What's the longest amount of time that you have spent abroad at one time, one clip?
9 months.
9 months. Tell
9
us
months.
more. Go ahead.
So,
Take that one away.
About, I would say 2022, I believe. I decided to do what some people do. They just wake up one day and said, look, I'm out. I'm tired of it. I'm out. And I think some people, there is some planning involved, but some people overplan to a point where it's just like continuous procrastination.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
I already said, hey, this is my last day of work.
Yeah.
The following week, I'm on a flight.
Yeah.
I know the day before, or I'm getting a hotel room, because the day before that, I'm putting all my stuff in storage.
Go ahead now.
Well, I'm not re-signing a lease. I'm not re-signing this lease no more. And I made plans. I need somewhere to put my car. I said, gave a car to one of my relatives to hold for me. I set all those things up. I reduced all my bills.
Okay.
I just had I believe just a cell phone bill and maybe car insurance. But you just start getting rid of things, and you don't make it this big, elaborate thought process. Be like, I don't need this. I don't need this. I'm not going to be here. You downsize and close. You're like, listen, this is what I want. Some people like me, I just do carry on only.
Time out. Because the purge process is real, right? And we have, I had emotional attachment to some things. But when I decided it was time to bounce, man, it was time to bounce. Like, I did not need anything. I did the opposite. I didn't have anything in storage. I got one kid. I said to my daughter, what you want, you better come get it, because otherwise, blah, blah. But how did that purge process make you feel in the beginning when you started it and when you were finally done? Tell me about those emotions.
So I think this may not be uncommon to many Black men.
Go ahead.
I think I have a small sneaker collection.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Right?
We going there? We going to the shoes?
Because I find this is more common with a lot of Black men, around my age group or even younger. We have attachment to our sneakers. And at one point, I was buying a new pair of sneakers weekly. Effortless. Just because, like, what came out.
So you were what they call a sneakerhead.
I don't consider myself a sneakerhead. My cousin is a sneakerhead. And he has a whole sneaker channel, right? I could drop his channel also. But he buys sneakers like crazy. So when I really put my stuff in storage and I counted how many sneakers I have, it's like almost 50 pairs.
50 pairs.
And out of those 50 pairs, I probably haven't worn about 30 of them have never been worn.
That sounds like a whole way to finance another 9 months of travel to me.
Very possible, right? So, and I think I'm underestimating. I think there actually might be more because I didn't sit there and count them. I'm just going through the boxes that I see in my head, and when I realized that I had to choose how much sneakers I could fit in my luggage, I had to break it down to like 2 or 3.
That's emotional, right?
And one that's on my foot if I don't want to wear slides on the plane. So it's like, yo, this is real deep.
Yeah, it's deep. It is deep. It's a thing.
On the thin level, on the skin level, it's deep because we're just talking about sneakers. We haven't got into like any other important things like like medications, like your toiletries, like how many toothbrushes and socks, and it gets crazy. But just sneakers, basic footwear, I'm
Yep.
like, okay, I need one everyday sneaker.
Right.
I need one going out sneaker.
Yeah.
And I need like one like sneakers that if I lose it,
You
like
don't
if
care.
I
Right.
don't like the workout hiking sneaker.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty much your 3 sneakers right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Wow. That's a serious emotional attachment to something that you had put value on while you were living in the United States, right? Like my sneakers are important to me.
Mhm.
I felt the same way. I'm like, first of all, they got to be comfortable. Like I had shoes that were like they cute, but they not all day kind of walking shoes, And I'm like, these are not making the trip. And now I'm like, basic black, basic white, and some flip flops. I'm a flip flop chick at this point in my life. I don't want no shoes. Everything, sneakers go with everything these days. So, yeah, at the end of the day, that's what it is for me. And it's interesting to hear it from a male perspective, that you had that same kind of emotional attachment to your footwear. But
Mhm.
it's the other things as well. You accumulate family heirlooms and sentimental things. What do you do with those things at that point when you decide that you're going to go 9 months? And for me, I can't see myself ever living in the United States full time. So I don't have a storage. I don't have a storage unit full of all the stuff. You know what I'm saying? My daughter might have a little bit of it, but I carry it. If I can't carry it here and in my 2 rolling bags, my backpack, it ain't coming.
Right. Yeah, like, when you start unpacking your life and putting in storage, you start to see things like I think I had like my 5th grade report card, a whole bunch of awards that I won, old hard drives, and like, damn,
Right.
I know I didn't throw this away for a reason. There's something
For a
on this I
reason.
need. And it's like I don't have time to go through it. So me, I just put them in storage. And one day, once I could afford the storage, you know how storage they start off cheap and then they
Yes.
start going up and up. And I already went through 3 price increases already. And I don't know what
Oh,
I'm about to do.
see, now that's a bill that I am never willing to pay because
I,
with that monthly bill, I could be someplace else or I could be having a great experience in another country, um, for the price of housing my stuff. And you know what happens when you get back to your stuff? You wonder why you held on to it. Am I
yeah.
lying?
Well, I'm gonna go to my storage sometime by end of this month. So I'm
See,
gonna
you got to
have
go
that
visit your
realization.
shit. That's
Yeah,
funny.
I gotta go visit my stuff, right? But, something I have like birth certificates, like my credentials for my job,
Uh-huh.
degrees, things like that.
Hmm.
And you really have to, if you have trusted family, hey, can you hold this for me? Or do you want to get a security box?
Right. Right.
You still got to protect your stuff because you don't want to be putting that stuff in your suitcase.
That's
So
right. That's right.
something that you have to plan for is how do you organize your life in America when you're not in America?
When you're not in the United States. Exactly right. Exactly right. I did a lot of, transferring things to thumb drives and then putting it into a security box at the bank, physically, and then also where do you get mail? Because at some point, something important is going to come. I, like you, I had eliminated 99% of my bills. So, but something's going to come through that you need. So that virtual mailbox is something that you really need to have as well, because I don't want to put that onus on a family member. Can I use your address? And if something comes through, let me know type of thing. So that virtual address mailbox is a winner for me.
Short story with that.
Go ahead.
So not revealing too much. I do hold some credentials
Uh-huh.
and you do have to renew these credentials on a yearly basis.
Mm-hmm.
Come to find out, and this is really antiquated on the system.
Uh-huh.
I renewed my credentials before I left,
Yeah.
but they had a question to ask me about it.
Right.
They only use mail, right? I
Mm-hmm.
sent it. I have my mail forwarded to a family member house, and
Yeah.
they know they're cool like that. They'll be like, "Hey, listen, this looks important. Should I open this and read it?" And they'll
Yeah.
send me a picture, right?
Yeah.
So they sent me a picture of the mail. I was like, that's not important. And I was like, if it was important, I would also get an email with it also. Tell me why I lost my credentials.
See, it's a real thing. It's a real thing.
And I could laugh about it because they did give it to me back, but I had to prove that I was outside the US. So I had to
Right.
show them, I had to show them my itineraries. I just showed them a passport stamp.
Yes.
Because they wanted me to go back to school and do it all over again.
Oh
so,
my God.
Luckily, they accepted my appeal. And now, everywhere I go now, if I get a mail from them now, I have to like immediately open it. So, in the future, when I do make a long trip again, I am going to invest in that virtual mailbox.
Yeah.
I think you can get it as cheap as $5 to $15 a month.
Yeah. I mean, the best one, and the link is in my description on my channel. But the best one will scan it for you. You know, and then you can decide whether or not you want it physically sent somewhere, or that scan is good enough and they can destroy it, shred it. And that's about $12-15 a month, and that for me is peace of mind, because I know, like with my trademark information and my LLC stuff, every once in a while you got to re-up on that stuff. Otherwise somebody gonna slide in and take your stuff from you, and that's not cool. So yeah, you do have to have that mechanism in place to make sure that those important documents do not get lost in the sauce. Because I'm in these streets gallivanting, I ain't really thinking about no bills, no documents coming through, except my alimony check. I want to make sure that comes through every month.
All right.
But I digress.
Shout out to Bill.
So listen, your family had already made the move here, but did everybody get it when you said, "Hey, I'm out for 9 months or more"? Did what kind of resistance or what kind of attitudes did you come up against when you decided you were going to take this long term?
Listen, when I initially left, I didn't bother telling people because honestly, no, because if you don't travel, you're not really gonna understand. And I really don't need. I don't need the validation. I don't need a permission, and I know you ain't sending me no checks anyway. So I told my two closest relatives, "Hey, listen, if something happens, hey, look for my body in Brazil, or look for it in Thailand, or something like that."
Turn on your location for just a couple of people, right?
Yeah, I might alert them to let them know I'm on this plane, I got on this flight. Small tips information. I might send them my Airbnb information, things like that. But I didn't bother to. I didn't bother to explain. I know it would just been a headache. It'd have been why stay here in America. People will also put their fears of them not knowing, of their ignorance. They'll be like, "Oh, it's dangerous," or like the typical thing in Thailand. "Oh, the lady boys are gonna get you." I don't need that in this undertaking I'm doing, because there is a little nervousness and fear and anticipation.
That's that natural human anxiety, because you're doing something that's different.
Right. And I don't need the extra noise.
Yeah.
Right. So for the first 7 months, I didn't make any social media posts.
Okay.
Essentially, outside of my two trusted circle of trust, like no one knew that I was in Thailand until I said, "Okay, now I can talk about it."
Okay.
Then I get the influx of all the, "Hey, we're glad you're traveling." Everything is positive from then.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's a smart way to do it if you know what your circle is going to come back with. And I think it's a little bit different for women who travel alone, simply because I am a big advocate, because I'm a solo traveler 90% of the time in foreign countries, and no, I don't speak another language and all the things, right? I'm a big proponent of creating soft landings before you arrive. Reach out to the community like you and I reached out. Not that we had a common destination, but a common journey, right? So if I was coming to Thailand and you were in Thailand, I'd be like, "Yo, I'm coming in on this day. Let's get together." I say that creates a soft landing, because that helps to alleviate some of that natural anxiety that you have about traveling internationally, especially someplace that is completely foreign. Language, culture, everything to you. Somebody's looking for you, right? Somebody is knowing when you should have already arrived. you're not necessarily having to navigate the entire landscape on your own, or
Right.
depending on tours and tour guides. You actually have a few folks, who are willing to say, hey, let's get together for coffee or a glass of wine, and that makes it a softer landing. So that's what I advocate for my female travelers. But a lot of them still like, yo, I already know. My sister gonna be like, what the hell you trying to do? My brother was like, yo, you running for the feds or what? Why you ain't coming back? You said you was coming back, right? Because my first one was 60 days in Ecuador. I knew absolutely nobody who had ever been to Ecuador. And that's really why I chose it, because, I was on a wellness journey and there were some things I had to do for myself. So I was like, I know ain't nobody coming looking for me. And nobody don't even know nothing about Ecuador. So I'm going to just post up here and chill for 60 days. And that turned into a whole lifestyle, because, like I said, I can't see myself coming back, man. I just can't. And you and I touched on that a little bit when we first started talking. I was like, kudos on coming back. You was like, kudos. It's like Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I am currently back in the States, and I'm slowly getting myself tangled back in the matrix. I do.
You all the way back in the matrix, dude.
Oh, pretty much. But in my situation, there is an exit plan.
Okay.
And I would also caution everyone, this is not for everybody.
It is not for everybody. Say that again for the people in the back.
This is not for everyone.
Nope.
You need to be a certain type of person. You have to be self-motivated. You have to be almost fearless. You have to be a critical thinker.
Or put your faith in front of your fear.
All of that too. You got to be able to solve problems, because things are going to happen where you don't have that lifeline.
That's right.
In some situations, you can't even call the police.
Right. So and you better know what's the numbers to call the police in the country you're in, right?
That's right, because 911 is not universal.
It is not universal. I got a post on my YouTube that's like, listen, there's like dozens of different emergency 3 numbers depending upon where you're visiting. You better know what you're doing. Go ahead.
Right. So, and then also this different level of finances. And I'll be honest, this whole digital nomad, I'm going to work for a 500 company and on using a VPN, I think that's a myth, because I've rarely met any expats that work for a big company.
Yeah.
That allows them to work outside the country. So
most
expats I've met, a large majority are ex-military.
Yes, ex-military or education field, because you can, as a teacher or an educational administrator, there are still quality opportunities outside the United States for you to go and to work and to earn that U.S. living. Right. So unless you're working for, I used to work for Big Oil at one point. If you're working for a company like that and they have an opportunity in another country, you can keep your gig. But for me, I was like, yo, I'm done with it. Like, I self-retired. I'm not trying to do that. So now you got to lean into your own personal strengths and how you make money while you're out in these streets.
Yeah, I do think situation like that is very rare. I do think it does happen, but I have mainly seen maybe a few contractors, a lot of people that teach English,
right?
A lot of English teachers, and few high-level content creators. I've seen that they're making so much on content creation that they can literally pick wherever they want to live in the world.
Yo, dude, goals, right?
You already know. But that's still in the minority. Yes, so I think that people really need to think about this. And you might see some people listen, hey, I did it for 9 months and I couldn't do it the 10th. Like some people might say that. So you really need to. And honestly, my trip was really a test run.
Okay.
That ended up being, it's supposed to be for a month, that turned into 9.
See, that was what I was going to ask you. Was 9 months your original intended length of stay, or it just morphed into that?
It morphed into that. And actually, the one reason I had to come back was to help with family. So in essence, I could have stayed on that trajectory even longer.
Yeah.
So I didn't run out of money. I didn't lose. I ended up giving I had like 4 months left on my apartment that I
Wow.
had to just relinquish my security deposit for 2 months in Thailand. So I could have still been there.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think relatively I could have been there another 3 years easily.
Wow. Wow.
Easily.
It's interesting that you say that you had to relinquish, time on your apartment. And that's
Mhm.
another big project that I think we don't talk about enough is really sharing those accommodation opportunities, right? If there was somebody that you knew in a trusted community that would have been able to say, hey, I'm coming to Thailand, I'll take that 3 months off your hands without you having to lose that money. So I advocate that for women as well, because you said test run, and it's very important to understand that just because you make a decision today is not the decision that you have to necessarily carry with you forever. Today doesn't have to mean forever. Try it out, see where your strengths and weaknesses are. Maybe you need to come back and adjust. Maybe you need to come back, get a job, and stack your money again. I don't know what
Right.
it's going to take, but don't be so stuck in um, the initial decision that you can't pivot when it's necessary. And that's what I hear you saying. You pivoted for whatever
Right.
personal reasons there were, but you have not given up the dream.
So I wanted to add two things. Something you touched on earlier about soft landing.
Yeah.
Definitely with Thailand, the Facebook group that I joined,
Uh-huh.
Brothers and Sisters Thailand,
Uh-huh.
which I actually end up starting the Brothers and Sisters Pattaya Jomtien, which is the
Uh-huh.
part of Thailand I was in.
Okay.
There was particular people that literally held my hand to an extent. I asked them, and they kind of wait till you get serious. So I kind of get it. So
Yeah.
they're like, "Did you buy a ticket yet? Let me see a ticket."
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I got
I ain't
you.
got no time and resources to waste.
Exactly. So I know you're coming for sure. Here, stay over here. Don't
Mm-hmm.
stay over here. Change your money here. Get your cell phone here. So I would say
Good.
without the support of that group, I think I still would have went, but they made me feel more prepared.
There you
Right?
go.
It gave
There
me a
you
good
go.
preparation. And then, like when you said contacts to meet up
Mm-hmm.
when you touch the ground,
Mm-hmm.
I think is very important because it's kind of weird. You kind of miss America, but you don't miss America. So you might,
Mm-hmm.
we tend, what I've experienced, we tend to treat each other better. And let
Uh-huh.
me better, people of our skin color better when we're outside of the US. It's a totally different interaction. It's almost spiritual to a sense, where that we see each
It's
other.
kindred spirit, right?
Right,
Because if
right.
you have already taken this step to actually leave the United States for any extended amount of time, we don't have to talk about the why or what it's going to mean to you. We already get it. We're on the same mindset, right?
It's
That part.
it's definitely people that have a very commonality in values as well. So you're already like, you're just like me, or I was you 2 years ago. And
Yes.
this is what I would have told me because I know exactly what you're
Right.
going through.
Right.
So things like that would definitely help, and I think that should go into your due diligence, research, YouTube, Google, contacts kind of situation. So yeah,
I
when I got
agree.
to Thailand, it was so many people to reach out to me. There were group
Yeah.
chats that I joined, so it was definitely that's part of it. And I want to shout out one thing. I do have a travel group that I'm starting
Okay.
that's based on traveling, and I think I want travelers to interact. It's called Black Travel Vlog. You can
Uh-huh.
find it on Facebook. I'll put the link up. I'll put the link in the chat. And pretty
Wonderful.
much, if you want to interact with other people that are traveling, it's small, but we're starting. You get to
But it's
interact
going to
with me.
grow. It's going to grow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I started two other Facebook groups. I started Brothers and Sisters Kenya, and also started Brothers and Sisters Pattaya Jomtien. And I think we just hit 500 members, and now it's
Okay.
on autopilot where I don't even post anymore.
Right.
Everyone just interacts and talks to each other. So
Yeah. And
that's
I
kind of
think
stuff
that's
I like to
so
do.
important. It's a sense of community. And virtual community, I think we did not put the same type of value on virtual community before COVID that we put during and after. That's when, it's your currency at this point, right? You're not wasting a whole lot of money figuring out, should I take the taxi when I land? Or, oh yeah, dude told me that this driver knows exactly where I'm going, ain't gonna try and, take my money or take me all around somewhere. And traveling as a female by myself, that's important. If I'm not getting on trusted mass transportation, public transportation, then I do want a driver who's looking for me, who got a sign that says welcome Diamond. And I already know that you done helped out X amount of sisters ahead of me. So it's a personal referral. That sense of community is just so invaluable right now when we're stepping outside these borders. Because, the world is still the world and stuff is happening.
Stuff is happening, and people sometimes think that what we have here, they have it all over. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, on a small level, they may not have Uber in your said country,
right?
But they may have Grab.
Yeah.
They may have InDriver.
That's right, InDriver.
So, you as a person who never been to this country, you may not know, or you may not Google it by yourself, whatever the case. So, when you get there, you're like, Uber is not in this destination. You're like, oh, what am I going to do?
Now, what do I do? Now, what do I do?
And people, I think people from the West, we prefer the apps over a random person that says, hey, take a ride with me, and you can barely communicate with them, and trusting that they'll actually take you to your destination and not somewhere further out where you can get extorted or put in a bad situation. So we like apps. We like taxi apps.
Yeah, absolutely. Like when I got here, I was like, okay, there's no Uber in Barbados, but there's pickup.
Oh, I never heard of that.
Yeah, see, putting you up on game. See, you can help me in the technology. And I'm going to say, if anybody's in the chat and y'all are speaking to me, the Gallivanting Grandma, I am not switching over to look at chats because I can't do technology-wise, I can't do two things at one time. So I can't talk and answer the chat. But thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. And if you're looking at this later on in the future, then I just want to say, put Team Replay on there and I'm going to respond to you. But right now, I'm just going to talk to Trini if that's all right with y'all. Yeah, I know y'all understand because y'all know me.
You got a couple questions, but no super chat. So guys, definitely don't forget, hit the like button. And definitely if you want the Gallivanting Grandma to respond, Diamond to respond to, please send us a super chat. You could do one as $1.99. It helps us so much. It helps us. It actually motivates us to keep doing lives. So I know we got a couple questions in here, and I think Spiral Black, shout out to him. You know what I mean? But we'll definitely
Black, yeah. I hope you subscribe to my channel because
you want
to know what's in my glass.
Actually, he did. So shout out to him. But we usually like people to super chat to stop our conversation. But Spiral Black is my man way back. So I appreciate him a lot.
All right, cool. Can I respond to that comment? Because he want to know what's in my glass.
Good. Well, you know what? He did subscribe, so go ahead.
Cool. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So listen, I'm the Gallivanting Grandma, and I'm a wine drinker. I love wine. I try wine in every country I'm in, but I don't have any wine today. And why should I bother with wine when I'm in Barbados? So this is diamond rum.
I was just gonna say you're drinking rum. That's what we drink in the island.
And coconut water. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm looking for my wine sponsor. I know my wine sponsor is looking for me too. So shout out to my future wine sponsor. I know you coming. I'm patient. I'm good with that.
Nice.
So yeah, a little bit of rum because I'm in Barbados. Why not? Yeah. So let me ask you, how has international travel kind of influenced your worldview as a Black man? Particularly a Black man who grew up in and spent your formative years, your adult years in the United States?
Well, I think the biggest thing, and it's a little addictive in a way, why people might travel, right? So,
hey, Tisha.
There is racism everywhere.
True that.
But I will tell you this American brand of racism, it is so heavy.
Ooh, say it again.
It is heavy. It is so thick. And we're so conditioned to it that we don't know other places don't have to deal with the stress that we deal with on a daily basis,
Daily.
where it comes to a part I'm even getting like excited about just stepping off the plane
Yeah.
and landing somewhere, even some places Europe, which I'm sure has its own brand of racism.
Of course.
It is not the same.
It is not the same.
And I feel in most places outside the US, I feel light as a feather. I don't think that's even a word I could really, I don't know if I could really
Put it
put it
into
into
words.
words. Yeah, because it's something you have to feel for yourself.
Yeah.
And if you've never traveled, I really feel sad for you because you can't know you can't imagine what I'm talking about.
The level
So
of freedom.
so it's like that's kind of like I can't actually I think shout out to Spiral Black. He did super chat us $1 for answering that question about what you had in your cup. So appreciate you, Spiral Black.
Thank
Shout
you
out
so
to
much. Thank you
you.
so much.
Shout out to you.
Yeah.
So I would say that impacted me a lot to a point where do I really want to live here and work and amass all these things, all this consumerism and sneakers and cars and all that stuff
Mhm.
just to live under this thick fog of racism.
Exactly.
And I can go to, almost everywhere, I haven't been everywhere, but every country I've been to, I've been treated immensely better. And
Then
one place sticks out to me really quickly. Sorry.
go
One place
ahead.
sticks out to me would be Dubai.
Okay.
I pretended to be rich for a week.
All
However,
right.
I'm not, right?
You was
But
manifesting it. Let's say that you was manifesting it.
every person I met, I know because I'm a foreigner,
Uh-huh.
they treated me like if I was Donald Trump.
Yeah. Oh
They
God. Did
rolled
you just
out,
say that? We don't say
not
that.
okay, bad example. They treated me like Oprah Winfrey.
Barack
Okay.
Obama. Yeah.
All right. They treated me like a celebrity, right? Where I felt like I wouldn't say in America I feel less than a person.
Yeah.
I just feel like they see me the way I see myself.
It's a
Which
certain
is
level
general.
of humanity that
Correct.
is
Yeah, that's
extended
better.
to us that supersedes the color of our skin. It's a level of humanity that
Right.
I find, and I'm glad you're speaking to it from a black male perspective because I've been married twice. I had two black husbands, so I know what that oppressive fog feels like for the brothers.
Mm-hmm.
But I could never be a black man and feel that, intimately, but
Right.
I know the microaggressions that come my way as a black woman are, magnified by 100, 200% as a brother in these US streets.
Right.
First of all, the skill set, the survival skill set that we have to have as black Americans will take you anywhere in the world. Because I say, if you can survive the streets of the United States being a black person, the rest of the world is cake. The rest of it, hey, Lorana, hey. I mean, it's sad. It's sad that our humanity, is not respected the same way in our own country where we're spending our consumer dollars. We're building, we're buying real estate, all the things that America tells us we should do to be successful. We're doing it, and we still behind the eight ball. At what point do you say, what, you can have this? I'm going someplace where I feel good about being me. I can freely express how I want to be me in these international streets. I don't have to put that mask on. What they call it now, code switching or whatever it is that you got to do when you out in these corporate in the corporate world just to get on that successful ladder. Yo, where do we learn that? I mean, my mom had a voice for when I knew she was talking to somebody white on the phone. So I guess that was code switching back in the day, right? You do what you got to do to survive. And when you can put the heaviness of racism down, it's virtually impossible to pick back up on a full-time basis. I know how I feel when I'm on a plane coming back to the States. I'm like, I'm not
Don't.
mentally prepared for that.
It's, you know what's funny? It's almost traumatizing.
Mm, yep.
So quick story. So
Go
I went
ahead.
to
Go ahead.
Brazil my first time. For anybody, but especially for black men, it'll be one of the trips of your lifetime.
Yeah.
Anyway,
The women are beautiful.
anyway, that plane ride, even going to the airport, it's like I had Tourette syndrome. I was shaking.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Even thinking about, so originally when I went to Brazil,
Mm-hmm.
first time in my life, I extended my trip unexpectedly.
Okay.
It was like, yo, when I get back, I'll get back. I extended my trip. And then the day came when I had to go to the airport, like the week before. Even thinking about it, I was like, yo, what's wrong with me? Why is my heart beating so fast?
That's
You know,
right.
what's going on? So it's like, it's really, really traumatizing to the extent where I think I shed a tear because I didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
I really did think so. So it's like, it can be after this. I say it could be addictive after you live outside for a certain period of time, and you get to the air feels different. People look at you different.
Yes.
You know. Quick story. I know I've been saying a lot of stories. I went to Bali, first time in Bali.
Ooh.
And
Destination goal for me. Go ahead.
Bali is amazing. And also I had a group, Black and Bali, who also gave me a soft landing, who told me a whole bunch of little tips and tricks.
Yes, for the soft landings, yes.
So I went to H&M. So issue in Asia, they don't make extra large like how the West makes extra large. So clothing, even for sisters, it's a little different. It can be different.
It's very different. Sisters be on Temu. They know what you're talking about. They
All
want
right.
extra large. It ain't extra large. Keep going.
So when I saw H&M, I'm like, yo, H&M, they must have American sizes. So I'm in H&M, I'm shopping, and I noticed that this guy was following me. And I knew he worked there.
Yeah.
And when I try to look at him, he approaches me. He was like, hey, do you need some help?
Okay.
I'm like, yeah, I'm looking for this. This man became my personal shopper in H&M. He got a bag for me, and I'm like, I want to get this. He's like, oh, I'm gonna hold it for you.
Yeah.
This man followed me in a good way around the store.
Yes.
And
because we've been followed in bad ways, so we know the distinction, right?
And well, see, initially I did not know the distinction. So that was on me. That was me living on my traumas, where this guy thinks, you know, either he wants me to hurry up and buy something, or you know, he looks at me like I'm doing something suspicious.
Right.
And I was completely in the wrong. And I apologized to him. I tipped him, and I said, that was the best experience I ever had in H&M on this planet.
Yes.
Was this man opting to be my personal shopper? I bought like 5 shirts. He held each shirt all the way to the cash register and cashed me out and walked me to the door.
Yeah.
You know, so that was something that, like, I'm back here and I'm like, yo, they don't know how to treat us like people over here.
Oh, no, not at all. Because they don't see you as a person. They see you as a sale. And, you know, the thing that really stood out to me when I really started traveling extensively, particularly in Latin American countries and even in the EU, you know, they don't rush you at the dinner table at all. Like, you got to ask for the check 2, 3, 4 times. They're not clocking for that money. It's not a capitalistic society where they're turning over that table. You know, if you haven't ordered a dessert or a coffee, you need to get up. They come and clean up around you to make sure that you're getting up in the United States. You don't get any of that. You know, when you travel outside the United States, they recognize the fact that this is quality time that you're spending with friends and family, and they are not rushing you to get out of that restaurant. You know, it was the strangest thing for me when I went to Ecuador and I'm looking around. I'm like, yo, they see I'm done. Like, nobody's going to come and give me the check. I put my hand up a couple of times. They ain't rushing me. And I was by myself. So that's something, there are different customs that you need to get adjusted to, but that makes you realize just how heavy the bag from a racist standpoint, capitalistic perspective, the United States is with us, right? Get out, hurry up and get out, make room for the next person. I got to make this money on this table again, right?
So
Small things.
let me ask you a question from a sister point of view, because this just
Yeah.
came to me. I don't know if your apprehension with the police in America will be the same as me, as being as a black man.
Right, right.
When you're traveling and you see that country's police officers or that culture police officers, brandishing or not, because someone will just walk around with the big long
AK-47s. Yep.
like it's nothing, or shotguns or whatever.
Yep.
How would you contrast how you feel versus when you see police officers here in the States?
That's a very good question. Now, I'm going to tell you that I am the daughter of a retired New York City police officer. My dad did 27 years in Brooklyn.
Nice.
And so I grew up with a healthy respect for the police. But I also grew up understanding that all police are not created equal, right? And as a Black woman leaving the United States for the first time, when I saw police in Ecuador, I didn't tense up. I didn't wonder whether or not they were looking at me, which is what happens on a regular basis in the United States. If I'm driving in the US and I could be on one side of the highway, police is on the other side of the highway, I'm looking to see, turn my head, they turning around, they coming for me. I had none of that. I drove for almost 6 months in Mexico. Every day I was on those roads. I never tensed up behind the wheel. I've seen the police at festivals and celebrations, and yeah, they are heavily armed, but never did I feel like I was the target, right, of their attention. Never, never. So when I got to the EU the first time, in Portugal, and I see the police, and it may say on the side of the car, protect and serve. You can kind of take that for what is valid. It's valid. They're not there to harm you. They're there to help you. Police be like, hey, how you doing? Give you a compliment when you're walking down the street. They're not looking at you with a side eye. So if I can feel that as a Black woman, I could just imagine how much more liberating it has to feel as a brother out there in the streets. Tell me if that was your sentiment.
Well, I also grew up with a healthy respect for the police. And I did grow up in New York City, so there were some times where, growing up, I don't think they do as much as anymore. I got stopped and frisked a couple times. I've had police officers reach in my car.
Yes.
Like all types of craziness. Yes. And what I did notice is that, to me, the police in America, my interactions with them, and like you said, not all, can never say paint all with all brush, that they tend to sometimes escalate situations on purpose.
Oh yeah,
right.
But that's a fear factor. That's fear motivated.
Exactly. It's like it's here, and they take it to the next level before you, and you're like, whoa, I'm not trying to take it there, and it's like a challenge. And as a man, you're being challenged. So Absolutely. Some of us, it's hard because I think it's a trap that they put for us to jump right into. Now
they're attacking your manhood, and they expect a certain reaction. But then I would also say the way that they come at you initially is just based on fear. We know that. Anybody who's standing on a corner and you got to break up what is just a healthy dialogue between 3 or 4 brothers, that you're feeling threatened,
right?
As a police officer, they're not doing anything out of the ordinary. That is you projecting that fear onto that group, and so now that's another way of stay in your place, get going, break it up.
So same thing.
That's the reality.
Same thing with you, like like I'm driving on if I see a police car, I'm looking to see if it's going to stop and pull me over. I always felt like I was the target of some type of investigation or something like that.
Yeah.
And compared to when I travel, like most recently, Kenya, Yeah, they're out there in full AK. You know, they have like the older style Russian type weapons,
Yeah.
and they're waving it with the next hand.
Okay.
You know, so
Yes.
I have I've yet to have any negative experiences with police per se.
Mm-hmm.
When I travel, I know some people will have.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, in some countries things are different, but overall, I don't. My heart doesn't beat fast.
No.
I don't feel like a target.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the police is watching me and staring at me. And if I feel like I interact with them, I don't feel like they're automatically going to try to elevate it to a next level.
Right, right.
You
I
know?
will say that TSA and the customs guys are more aggressive, are more aggressive than the police officers in any country, right?
Customs is you know what's funny? I'm glad you said that. You know when I'm reminded when I'm back in the US, when I speak to a customs agent,
Yeah.
they remind me how America really views me. I'll be honest. And I've been through customs. I've even been bribed, not bribed, what you call it? Extorted by custom
Get out of
agents
here.
nicer than how I've extorted me in a nicer way than how
Right.
I'm treated just to get through customs and right here in the States.
Say it again. I mean, there is
So
a distinct difference between how we are treated as Black people in the United States, our country, our home, where we pay taxes and we contribute to the economy, than any
mhm.
other place in the world. And I will say it's because I believe, through my experience, America is the only country that fights vigilantly to hold on to their racist past. You know, we all know that the slave trade actually started in Portugal, but Portugal has, they have come to terms with their role in all of that. And so while there is still racism, it's not as overt, and they don't try to hold on to that negative history the way the United States is holding on to it. That's all Make America Great Again is about, right? It's about taking it back to when they feel we should have been and should be in a certain place in society. And so when you can escape that, I'll say again, it's almost impossible to pick up that bag and say, this is where I want to return for the rest of my life. At 62, I got more years behind me than I do in front of me. Let's keep
Mm,
it 100. That's not how I want to spend my last days on this earth. I'm
I hear
sorry.
you.
I need grace. I need ease. I need peace of mind. I need liberation. And I know that what the level of that I'm seeking, I'm not going to find it in the States. So I ain't even trying. And I used to be militant, like, let's change the system. Not no more. Y'all can have it. Hey,
yeah,
Damaris.
I feel like at some point, um, I think the system will change, but I don't think it's gonna be in my lifetime.
Well, if it ain't gonna be in your lifetime, you damn know it ain't gonna be in mine.
I think we can help prepare the future generations
Uh-huh.
to a point where it is, but I don't know if how much fight I have left in me. You know, I think I
Right.
want to go. You know, I want to live in my how would I say this post American era. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
kind of want to be there. Where
And first of all, for you to be able to imagine that,
Mhm.
like we said, it's a different frame of mind. It's not for everybody. And what I have discovered is that I stopped trying to convince people. You know, when I first got a taste of this, it's so good. It was so sweet. Everybody needs some. Let me give you some. Come. Nobody came. And so, therefore, that's why I share on social media as much as I do, because it's not my personal crusade anymore to save the people that were in my inner circle, or to make them believe that life can be so different. You know what? Either you get it or you don't. You're going to try it or you're not. But I'm here to tell you, listen, life is real sweet outside the borders.
Yep, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, yeah. We touched on a little bit about the United States and from a political standpoint. I mean, how much do you, when you're in other countries, how much energy and time do you put into following what's going on in the United States? Because I know for me, like CNN is so not a thing for me anymore, and it used to be.
You know what? When I was in Thailand, and sadly, we just had another school shooting like a couple days, I think a couple days, less than a week ago.
Yes, less than a week ago.
Um, the way that I watch Thailand's news is so uneventful. It's
Mm-hmm.
like a new store opened up. They're fixing Main Street.
Yes.
Um, bad weather on Wednesday. Like their news is so uneventful,
Yeah, yeah.
and occasional, someone stole a fruit from the fruit stand. Like it's really very, very low level crime kind of things. And
Yeah.
then you go to America and like, another mass shooting, 15 people dead. It's like it's depressing.
It's
And
depressing.
and to a point that when you live on in Asia, it's almost
Mhm.
opposite time. So
Yeah.
when it's daytime over here, it's nighttime over there. So by the time you get the news, it's already delayed like 8 hours.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
really you have to invest to keep up into what's going on in the States. And
Right,
most of us
right.
don't. Like if we
That is
find out,
not that,
if we find out it's on social media, like
right.
someone posted something.
Right, right. I mean, I feel like that's not how I want to spend my days. That's not how I want to invest my time, and the news in the United States is so heavily propagandized. I mean, you think about propaganda, you think about places historically like, Germany or whatever. But at the
Mhm.
end of the day, you got to really invest personally in following all the negativity that is put forth in U.S. media. You got to make a concerted effort to do it, and that's not really how I want to spend my time and my energy. I'd rather focus on natural spring spas, and what's the fruit today that is available at the market, and what does it taste like.
See, I don't think people understand that. So while I was
That's
living
part
in
of the
Thailand,
heaviness you get to put down.
when you wake up in Thailand, you don't know how to spend your day.
Yeah.
You're like massage, breakfast, massage, dinner, massage. It's kind of like how it goes for most expats. It's like centered around feeling good. Am I gonna go to the beach today?
Yes.
Am I gonna go for a hike? Am I gonna go to a museum?
Right.
What clubs are hitting up tonight?
That's right.
Who's hosting a game night? Who's cooking? Are we doing Sunday dinner?
Yes.
Everything is around relaxation, just chilling, just enjoying life.
and,
Just
and I say getting back in touch with your inner self,
right.
because when you're in the United States, you said it, there's so much noise, there's so much chatter that first of all, if you live in a big city, I'm from New York, so I got that big city experience, right? You in New York, and it's all that hustle and grind, and so you really have to quiet your mind intentionally, slow it down. Like, okay, I don't have to do anything that I don't want to do today unless I want to do it and it feels good to me. It doesn't even have to be pre-planned. Am I right? I
Correct.
know, through house sitting, I have the flexibility of being in a spot 2, 3, 4 months without having to worry about housing expenses and how I'm gonna pay the electric bill and the mortgage and all of that stuff, which leaves me lots of time to get acquainted with the local libations. you know, the rum here is exquisite. I've been exploring, the different fruits that are in season. When I was in the EU, any bottle of wine, I don't care if it's $3, was a good bottle of wine, man. You could sit, sip, enjoy,
Oh,
think,
you said you
relax.
said you said the key word. When things cost less, you even enjoy it even better. You know?
Okay, let's talk about the money a little bit. How much further your US dollar can go in all aspects of your life when you leave the United States.
Mm-mm-mm. Man, I had the best pancakes for $3 in Thailand. That's all.
I
That's what
bet you
comes to
they
my
weren't
mind.
I bet you they weren't at IHOP either, right?
No, it was made fresh right in front of me,
Yep.
on demand, on the side of the road.
Right.
There's like a really good breakfast spot on the side of the road. People just pull up. They sit in these little school chairs, and this
Yeah.
lady comes out and she makes breakfast for you, like in like a cubby. But it's
Yes.
amazing. It's like
Yes.
amazing.
I mean,
And
go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, but you have to have that adventurous spirit, right? That will allow you to get off the tourist track.
Hmm.
Okay, because if you stay in the tourist areas, you're gonna spend up all your money.
True.
But if you have, the foresight and the faith to be able to go outside of those areas, you can find some of the best places to eat. They on the side of the road, up the street, nobody knows about it. Like in Ecuador, I mean, you can get a full meal. I'm talking, you can't eat it all for $3. But you got to know it's on the side of this street and up that road.
Mm,
And this is the mama who's cooking, and you get to know the family who's providing this food for you. You know,
wow.
so you don't have to eat in establishments all the time when you are willing to get out and about. And that takes a certain level of putting your faith over your fear. Because yeah, you don't know what's up that side street, but I'm not gonna let my anxiety or my fear stop me from finding out. That's not to say that you're gonna be up there crazy. You're not aware of your surroundings. But at the end of the day, I'm not living my life fear based.
See, also that goes into community that you build while you're there too. Because if
Yeah,
you build community with the locals and build community with the other expats, you would start getting recommendation to these places.
that's right. That's
And then
right.
on your way, you might find places on the way to the recommendations. So this particular spot I found that was recommended by other expats. It's like, yo,
Right.
shh, go to
Don't tell
home.
nobody.
Exactly. All you need is $5 and you're good to go. You
Man,
know?
those are my favorite kind of places for real. I like chopping it up with the locals. I went on an island tour, and there are established tours that you can pay, $100, and they take you out for the whole day, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the
Mhm.
day, I was like, yo, I don't want to do that. I don't want the tourist tour. I want you to take me where you go. Where the brothers and sisters hanging out. Where the black owned businesses. Because I'm real
Mm,
intentional about where I spend my discretionary income. And so yeah, I want to support our businesses every country I go to. So take me there. And that's what I posted up recently on my YouTube channel, a day in Barbados. And it's all black owned.
right.
That means something to me. It might not mean something to everybody, but like I said, it's my discretionary income to spend the way I want to on things that matter to me. So yeah, intention is important. Hey, hey, hey. Kiana, we met in Barcelona.
Oh yeah? That's
Yeah,
what's up.
yeah, yeah. I tell you, I meet amazing sisters everywhere I go. I really, really do. What you want to know about Barcelona?
Oh well, it's definitely on the list. Ecuador's on the list also.
Yeah, yeah.
But you said something about you met her in Ecuador, right? You meet some of the most unique lifelong friends while you
Um,
travel. Like,
yes.
I mean, not to disrespect my people from America. I love you guys, but
Right, right.
it seems to you find a different quality of people in the airport, having breakfast with. Like, even though I travel solo, rarely do I ever have breakfast, lunch, or dinner by myself. I always
Mm-hmm.
need someone, especially when you travel and someone hears an American accent, you
Yeah,
can't help it but be drawn to them.
that's right.
And you're like, hey, what you doing? Like, yo, this is my second time here. Listen, you got a minute? Let's get something to eat. I could tell you everything I know and share over a meal. And it's like
Yes,
nothing.
yes.
Even as a brother, even in a place like Brazil, where a lot of his brothers might go there because of all the women and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Other brothers will see you on the beach and invite you to go get breakfast.
Yes. It's a
Or
beautiful thing.
hey brother, we having a function later on tonight. You want to come through? Just met me. Don't know me from a can of peas.
Right. But at the end of the day, they do know foundationally that you have something that is similar, right? You have that in common. Otherwise, you wouldn't be there by yourself. If you weren't like minded, you would not be there by yourself, right? So they
That's right.
already know. Yeah, you my people. Everybody ain't tribe, but I will say that I used to brag about having, tribe in all the cities in the United States, every state. Yeah, I got people here, I got people there. Now I'm like, I got people that's country code related. You know, I got people in Ecuador like Lorana. I mean, I got tribe everywhere I go. And so if I want to go back, I already know my people got me.
Right.
You know, I arrived to Barbados, I didn't know a soul. But somebody told me about a sister who was here in Panama, from Panama, and the rest is history. You know, you find your tribe, your vibe is going to attract your tribe.
And I know some of our brothers have little issues with American women,
Oh, we
but
was gonna get to that. That's a whole
I
nother
would say
episode, dude.
I gotta touch on it. I gotta touch on it because
Touch on it.
I would say our sisters treat us different outside the states. I would say that personally.
All right, go
You
ahead, go
know, so
ahead. Speak. Brothers speak.
you might be traveling and you might meet a sister from the West, from America, from Texas, from UK. You might meet a sister from Africa, and you might realize that you guys interact on a totally higher level than you ever will in the United States. I've had sisters approach me. I've sisters smile at me. I sisters say, "Hey, take my number. Look, I got to get this flight, but listen, you look cute. Yo, take my number and hit me up."
You look cute.
You know, so it's a different interaction, all facets from a platonic to a romantic level. So even if you may not, and it's sad, you may not get that connection of the tribe here.
Yeah.
But I almost guarantee you're gonna find it out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you touched on that. I really, really am. And I think that goes back to, you know, you are interacting with like-minded people at that point. You know, if you catching a flight and you going to Thailand by yourself and a sister, you know, recognizes that fact, then yeah, we already got common ground. So why not? You know, we both on this journey, whether or not it's for a vacation, whether it's not it's for an expat experience, we all on that journey. So you opened the door, and when we first started talking, you said, I said, well, you know, what? Tell me about the passport bros and what's that really all about? Because you know it has a certain connotation,
Yes,
right?
yes,
When people
yes.
hear it, and sisters, American Black sisters are like, you know, they not going to these countries to meet us, so they feeling kind of slighted when they meet American men in foreign countries. Like, yeah, they ain't clocking for that. They want the local flavor. And when we started, you was like, well, you know, you don't really understand about passport bros. So just clarify some of the misnomers, the misconceptions about that group, because they are mighty. There are a lot of them.
I don't even know if I'm the right spokesperson for the Passport Bros. However,
but from your perspective,
I am Passport Bro adjacent. I would say, because when I travel, I do interact with a lot of them, and some of the stuff I can understand, and some of the stuff that I don't. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't care why you're traveling. I want you to travel for whatever reason it is. That's how I look at it.
Right.
Now, I think there's been like a campaign, because to be honest with you, the European, the Caucasian man is the original passport bro.
Say that.
And no one gives him flack for it.
Nope.
All the mail-in brides, all the I just went to Mexico and I got a Mexican wife, all the Asian, all the, not to bring up your favorite person, all the Ivankas, you know what I mean? Like, they are the original people that said, I don't want to deal with American women, and they go marry the whole world.
Romanians, whatever.
And bring them back, get taken advantage. The men that get taken advantage the most are our European European men that get taken to the cleaners.
Yeah.
You know? So I would say the misconception is that all passport bros are created equally.
Yeah, yeah.
And that passport bros are directly related to someone who's a certain type of tourist.
Yes.
That's what they're there to patronize in that particular thing.
Yes. In that sector.
My answer to that is, are you just against them doing it in this country, or do you care if they do it right here in America?
Uh-huh.
Because
Uh-huh.
to me, it's kind of selective outrage because, I've heard sisters here, hey, I want a sugar daddy this, sex worker pride that, this, that, the other, go get you that.
Yeah.
It's fine once it's here in America. But
Yeah.
if they go abroad, oh, they're taking advantage and
Yeah.
it's to give me the ick and all this other stuff. So one, that's not what it is, but
Okay.
it is a multitude of it's not a monolith. So there is some brothers that's what they do.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's unfortunate because I think they are the louder ones that
Yes.
it paints all brothers now.
Right.
So now people ask me, are you a passport bro? Because I
Yeah.
travel, you
Yeah.
know? And even though I might go to Thailand and a passport bro might go to Thailand, we do not have the same experience by far, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So for example, I love Thailand, but me and a Thai woman do not get along. It's not going to work. Thai women are not for me.
Okay.
The whole 9 months I was in Thailand, I've dated black women from literally almost every corner of the goddamn planet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
From Australia to Europe to South Africans to Ghanaians to people from Virginia, Florida. I've
Yeah.
dated nothing but black women from all parts of the world that
Yeah.
just happen to be visiting Thailand.
Gotcha.
And you will be amazed to see how many black couples that are there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So to be a quote unquote passport bro, one thing you can't be is broke. You gotta have money.
Oh, you gotta have money.
You gotta have some either you're a veteran, you gotta have some reoccurring, you gotta have some self-generating revenue with
That's
you.
right. That's
So
right.
the whole myth of they're broke, they don't want to spend money in America. No, technically they're spending their money in a smarter way
That's
than
right.
America because however you want to look at it, they're literally getting, pun intended, more bang for their buck.
Oh
You know,
gosh.
they literally are, and you cannot knock the logical shrewdness and the finances of it. So if
Yeah.
they want to go to Brazil, they want to go to DR, wherever the case is, and that's the experience they want to do. It's their money.
Yeah.
They work for it,
Mm-hmm.
and we also call the quote unquote plantation brothers, men who
Mm-hmm.
might say, you're running away from American women, you're not strong enough, et cetera, et cetera. You're over here working so hard and you still are having poor results. One thing that passport bros got is receipts.
They got
And that's what
receipts. You know, I
that's what
like
they get.
receipts. I like
That's what they get
receipts.
from the tape for because majority of it's men showing where they are, how they're living their life.
Yes.
So how could you as an individual be mad of the way someone else is
Yeah.
with their life?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And like you
So
said, it's not everybody, but they do get grouped into this
yes,
negative stereotype because
yes.
there are some who out there flossing and making the most noise in that community. And that's
Well,
why I asked you about it and I wanted you to address it.
well, think about it. Think about this individual. Somehow they weren't living the life that they wanted in America. It could be their
Correct.
fault. It could be their looks. It could be their finances. It could be a numerous amount of things. They found happiness.
And everybody's definition of happiness is
It's
different.
completely different. They were so happy about it that they started recording themselves doing it. So think of the mind frame of that person that they were
Yeah.
so happy that they had to show everyone how happy that they were.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
now, definitely, I'm not promoting anything illegal. So if it's
Please.
illegal in that country, just like how it's illegal right here in America, but no one seems to care. When you go to places where it's legal, I cannot judge that person by that people's culture and that
I
people's
mean,
laws.
and nor should we, right? Because it's
Mhm.
all about living your best life, whatever that means to you. So, judgment is out the window as far as I'm concerned. Nobody has to understand how I live my life and how I spend my money.
That's right. That's right.
Nobody. And I'm through trying to explain it to anybody,
That's
because it's mine. And I can stand in my own truth for once in my life and say, I own every facet of my life from, you know, my emotional, spiritual, mental, financial, everything, my sexuality. I own it all. So what I do with my life is my darn business. And so, no, I don't stand in judgment.
So I got to add something.
Go ahead, add it.
There's
Brothas
also,
Speak. Brothas
there's
Speak.
also the passport sis. And some of us may not want to talk about passport sis, right? Because passport sis is on the dating apps.
It's on the dating apps.
She's swiping right to everything that she likes.
Yep.
But here's the hard truth a lot of passport sis come to realize. When you date outside of America, 9 times out of 10, it's on you.
It's on you. Yeah.
You know, Rico Suave don't got the money to wine and dine.
Passport. All passports are not created equal. You got that little blue book. You got serious access, and you don't recognize that.
He can speak French and speak romantic, but you know he don't got it.
I was in Morocco, you know, and the Moroccan men were so courteous and so just beautiful human beings. And I got invited out so many times, but at the end of the day, you know, you can't even leave a certain province because you don't have the right paperwork. So, you know, if I can't come to you in your own country of Morocco, what am I do with you? You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, recognize the power that is behind that blue book, and don't be mad when people make the natural assumption that you are a person of means, because if you living in Thailand for 9 months, you got some money.
Oh yeah, and you know exactly. And then also, yes, there are cases where you know you might meet the rich businessman in London or something like that. Yes, that happens. And hey, if that's what you want to go for, I ain't gonna tell you don't go for it.
That's right.
I'm just gonna say the people I met when you know a lot of us expats hang out together.
Yeah.
And you might have a couple expats who have local partners.
Yes.
And you bring them to the meetup and you ask them what they do, and they say, well, I don't work because if I work 6 days. I can't be with my partner because she's an expat. She don't work.
Yes.
So if I go to work, I only get 1 day off.
Right.
So passport sis ain't got nothing to say because she gets Rico Suave 7 days a week. And Rico gonna cook, he gonna build things, he gonna fix everything. But guess what? Rico living in her house and Rico paying the bills.
That's right. I know sisters like that, and I know brothers like that. And I say whatever makes you happy. That's the arrangement that makes you and gives you the most joy in your life, then go for it. You know, like I said, who am I to stand in judgment?
Exactly.
Make it work for you. Make it work for you. That's all there is to it. I can't believe we've been talking for an hour and a half. This is my longest interview ever.
That's light. We do 4 hours on the live stream. It's crazy. And thank you, people, for watching. Don't forget, hit the like button on both channels.
Yes, hit the
like. Don't forget, hit us on the super chat. Continue to ask us questions. Shout out to Awkward Black Nomad. She's been
that's my girl. What'd you say? Men treat you differently as well. I heard that.
You know, so here's my other theory. I think it's this place. I think it's America that put black men against black women, because there was a couple
from day one strategy. Go ahead.
There was a couple that I met in Phuket, and they probably watch. They may watch this, and low key, I was jealous of their relationship.
Yeah,
because I haven't seen a black couple like that in America in a long time. They homeschool their kids.
Yes,
they both work from home. So they invite me over, right, to play spades, right? Yeah. So the group want to play spades.
Universal, ain't it?
Right? Like, yo, you don't play spades? Yo, come through tonight. So we're over there playing spades, and I watched me and this man play spades. His wife bring us dinner. She, you know, I don't smoke, but they do. She rolls a blunt up for him.
Yeah.
You know, kisses on the forehead. I'm like, what the hell? Like,
where'd you find her?
Exactly. You know what I mean? In a respectful way, I was low-key jealous. I'm like, he's like, man, listen, we couldn't make it happen if it was them in the States.
Yeah.
It's like keeping it real. It's like, here brought us together.
Wow. And I bet you that level of stress that they were able to eliminate in their everyday lives allowed them to connect on a deeper level, right?
What they mentioned was they don't have any guards up where they're at.
Right, right.
So it was a beautiful thing. I was low key jealous. So I think my future will probably be, with my, because I've only dated sisters on a serious basis, where it'll be a sister, but I think I got to get up out of here.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
think we got to go live in Africa or
We got
somewhere.
to go somewhere
Yeah,
else where we can eliminate at least a large portion of the bull crap that pits us against one another. Because, like I said, that has been, the colonizer's strategy from day one, right? And it has worked. It really has worked. And so you got to get out of Massa's mindset and off of his plantation, and I'm talking figuratively, but still literally,
right.
you got to get off the plantation in order to reap the benefits of the relationships that made us so strong in our native countries.
So
We need to be teammates,
right. That's a big thing.
We need to be teammates to make this thing happen successfully.
So be like, you might not be getting, how some women say, oh, I need someone to pay these bills, and
Yeah,
I can't be feminine unless my bills are paid and all this.
yeah.
If I take you to Thailand, you don't got no bills.
I know that's real.
What's the problem? You know what I mean?
What
So
is the problem?
So I think we're not getting the best of our women because they live in this daily trauma. And I could only add the added dimension that I don't know as a man that women go through. I definitely do see it, but I don't, like you said, I don't know what it is to be a Black woman. So I could only
we
imagine.
are the nurturers, right? We are the foundational glue of our communities. And so those hats are very heavy to wear. I remember when it was wife, mother, grandma, auntie, daughter, caregiver, employee, or employer, depending on what part of my life I was in. The juggle is real. It really is. And so when do you have time to get in touch with your feminine side or stay in touch with your feminine side when you jockeying all these different positions? Throw into the equation the fact that a lot of sisters at some point or another are raising families on their own, whether that was by design or by circumstance. So you used to being in lead mode. You used to being in hustle and grind mode. So you don't even recognize when a brother comes your way and says, hey, let me help you lift that load. Not got this. How many times you see women are like, you are saying no to assistance because you're so used to carrying the load. And just because you can carry it well does not mean you should continue to carry it by yourself. So, you got to open up and be a little bit more vulnerable. And leaving the United States gives you that opportunity to put down some of the load that you've been carrying. And, I say now, I date in every country I go to, because I date for fun, because I ain't trying to get married no more, over that. It's been there, done that. So I date for fun, companionship, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, don't come at me with what you bring to the table, because my life is big and beautiful all by myself. So I'm not auditioning. I'm not answering no interview questions for us to go out on a date. You understand what I'm saying? What you bring to the table, I'm not answering that question.
Let me ask you that. In your dating experience, right? You said like all this pre-qualifying stuff. When I meet women outside the US,
yeah,
I just say we're going on a date tomorrow. That's it. Or even same day. There's no this endless talking and back and forth.
What is there to talk about? We can talk on the date. Why we gotta talk before the date?
So do you experience that yourself as being a woman? Like when you meet locals or you meet other travelers, like how do you guys interact with dating?
Yeah, well, I will say that I like to date organically, first of all. So if I meet you while I'm enjoying a glass of wine somewhere, or I'm having a meal, or I'm out at the store, at the market, and you walk up to me and you got a smile on your face, I don't necessarily need to even understand everything that's coming out of your mouth. from a language perspective, but your eyes are smiling at me, and you are welcoming me into your energy. And it's an energy exchange and connection for me when I travel internationally. So like I said, I don't really have any problem meeting men organically. And you're right, it's an on the spot thing. I know this coffee shop up the street. Let's go. And it happens just like that. But we have so many guards up in the United States as Black women. What you want from me? What's your angle? What you're trying to get, that we can't even receive that. But once you get inside the States,
we're somewhat suspicious of each other.
very much.
Being back here, I realized that it's like you said, like, what's your true intention? So it's like you can't even connect with me because you over there trying to screen me first.
I mean, it's a chess match from minute one. I'm trying to think what's your move, and let me move counter to that so that I don't get, my queen don't get taken. I mean, what the hell is really happening here?
That's actually a good. I like that analogy.
I don't want to play chess no more. I really don't.
So what also I realized is that, I would say local women, they would tell me now, it could be for various reasons.
Yeah.
I get approached a lot.
Outside the United States or
yes, outside compared to sometimes I think in the States it's on me to approach the women completely. And I would say it doesn't happen. A few occasions women do come to me and say, hey, listen, I saw you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to go, especially in South America, kind of like places that you go to, Asia, definitely in Africa, for real, they walk right up next to me and they tell me what their intentions are.
That must be nice.
Off the rip. No guessing game. No, if I look at you looking the other way.
Right.
None of that, RBF. It's all smiles. It's all stares. And they will come, if I call a woman over in America, she'll be like, no, you come.
Right. Oh, a little bit of attitude. A little bit of attitude.
Like, if I go like this, she's already over here. I just raised my hand. I was calling for the waiter. Oh, I thought you was talking to me.
Oh my goodness. It's like that.
No, because she was paying attention to me the whole time.
Yes.
Waiting for me to lock eyes back with him. I was asking for the waiter.
Yeah.
I thought I was by myself also.
Yeah.
He took it as an invitation, but that's how my experience has been.
Yeah.
So, when brothers sometimes say, hey, listen, and I'm definitely against brothers speaking ill of our sisters here in the States.
Please, thank you.
That's not where I wanted to go. It's not. But if you haven't experienced it,
yes,
it might change your perception on things.
It will definitely change your perception on things. And I will say, people ask me about, places that I've been, like Argentina. I landed in Argentina, at night. It was raining. I had to find someplace to eat, and they eat late, like 8:00 starts dinner, and that's in a lot of the EU. But in Argentina specifically, the restaurants are not open for dinner until about 8:00 in the evening. So it's dark. I'm by myself. It's raining. I go into this little side shop that, the menu outside looks good. And there's a gentleman there sitting minding his business. He got a little scarf on, and he's eating and having his drink. And I sit down and we lock eyes. And I'm struggling with the menu because, I'm kind of vegan adjacent. And so he was like, what are you looking to eat? Just like that. And we struck up a conversation. Next thing you know, first night landed 2 hours, and I'm on a dinner date. Wow. That led to an evening of very pleasant conversation, which led to let's do coffee the next morning. And so it was just that easy. But that's why I say organically is the best way. I don't like that swipe left, swipe right, give me 5 stars or whatever it is nowadays. I'm not doing all that. I'm just not doing it.
You're definitely not on the app if you're giving star ratings. But yeah,
it's too much. It's too much. It's unnecessary. And like you said, all the pretense is down when you're outside of the country. I ain't got nothing to lose. First of all, I ain't trying to get married. So yeah, let's kick it.
Yeah, I would definitely tell brothers to stay away from the dating apps, no matter what country you go to. Because I'll be real, you on a dating app, you in places, unfortunately, places like Colombia, some of our brothers have lost their lives, for,
I love Colombia. Ooh, I love
I love Medellin. I almost moved to Medellin as well. I did love,
really.
yeah, I did love Medellin a lot.
Okay,
I
okay.
love
I was
I love the weather, the cost effectiveness, but
oh my God, let's look the money. The
yeah,
money thing. I mean, absolutely, your money goes so much further in Colombia. And if you don't listen to all the propaganda, you will find
right,
that it is a beautiful country.
beautiful.
I posted up the entire month of February I was in Colombia, and that wasn't a house sit, so I was really gallivanting.
Oh, nice.
That was a just shits and giggles type of thing. Me and my girl, we decided that at that point Ecuador was going through some political unrest, and we had to make a hard decision whether or not we were going to keep our accommodations and our plan to spend the month in Ecuador. I was like, listen, I'm not giving up like warm weather and waterfront situation for a month because of what's going on in Ecuador. So we chose
Hmm.
Colombia, and it was good. We posted up in Santa Marta along the coast. Man, I left a piece of my heart in Colombia. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. It gets a second date. It definitely gets a second date.
Yeah, I would tell brothers, just avoid the apps and you'll be fine. You go out, just you don't even have to dress up.
You do
Just,
not, because I
just
don't.
I normally go out, let's see, in some track pants and some
Yeah,
flip flops, and I
yeah,
still get ridiculous attention. So,
yeah.
brothers, just take a shower, go to the club,
That part.
go
Take
to
a
the
shower now. Take a shower.
yeah. What I mean, just clean
Yeah,
yourself up. Nothing extravagant. You don't have to wear
that's
no
right.
gold chain. You don't
Yep.
gotta wear no fitted. You don't gotta wear no expensive T-shirt. Maybe put some little cologne on. But
Yeah.
it's very dating is simple and easy.
Dating it should be. I think it should be. And I have found really that it is. And so I'm glad for the experience because growing up, the majority of my adult life being a married person in the United States, I had to first of all get in touch with myself before I even wanted or knew how to date. It was all new to me. And then, having the experience outside the United States, I'm like, oh man, this is easy breezy, the way it's supposed to be. I'm loving it. I'm my true, authentic self at all times. There are no pretenses. I ain't after what you got. And so it just makes it so much more pleasurable for me. Yeah.
And I think also expats dating other expats might be a good thing because I think some women, you want something going on, right?
Almost
So
definitely.
if
I'm
you're an
not carrying the
expat,
load.
right? So I'm trying to get a perspective from someone who's from America, right? You're an
Uh-huh.
expat, you meet another expat. I know you got something going on
Yeah,
because you couldn't be expatting like me if you don't got something going on.
that's right.
You
That's
know
right.
what I mean? So I
It's
think
that common ground. That's right.
that might be a great match. Maybe you looking for your black king or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
He might be in another country and still be from America. That's what I'm saying.
That's right. That's right. So, like I said earlier when we started this conversation about, dating and the sexes, a lot of black women will complain, I'm in Mexico and, ain't no brothers clocking for me and all these things. But at the end of the day, I think it's about how it's your vibe, it's your energy. What are you projecting? And be true with yourself. What are you really looking for? Are you looking for somebody to take care of you while you live in
Mhm.
Mexico? And if you are, be real with that. Because there are some brothers who are okay with that. Like you said, they coming over there with military pensions
Mhm.
or, whatever the case may be, they got a steady paycheck coming in. And maybe they want the same thing you want, a life partnership. But I think you do yourself a discredit if you're not being authentic and being true with what your desires really are.
Listen, don't stereotype everyone. Everyone is not the same. If you see me,
Everybody is not the
you
same.
you come and approach and you stare at me and you wave at me because I'm definitely looking for black women no matter what country I go to,
See, oh,
no
y'all
matter
heard
what,
that.
no
Listen,
matter
y'all
what their
heard it from
background is.
Freddie.
So and a lot of us are like that, but again, the overall, not to say, but like the passport bro kind of like paint us with this brush. So
Yeah,
we kind of have to like say, nah, we're not here for that.
we're not
So
that.
right. So just because you see that, you might want to approach that person on the individual level and find out what they're about. You might see
Please.
you have more in common with someone that travels for sure. So see if you guys have something else in common.
Right, right. Because that's the given. Y'all both in a foreign country. Right? So you got that in common. That's an easy conversation starter. I don't care who you are or what your intentions are. That's an easy way to start a conversation. And like I said, I haven't dated a lot of expat men, to be honest with you. I like kicking it with local men. I do. So I don't know. I might be a passport sister.
Listen, I know
really
one
because that's a great way to get to know the community, the environment. Like I said, to go to the places that are off the beaten path. So I do. I date a lot of local men when I'm traveling.
Listen, don't let these girls. I mean, a lot of these women traveling, they be on the apps, baby. They be on. I got a date tonight with this person. We going swimming in the morning. He's taking me to go see the elephants. Don't let them G you. They do the same thing. They're just not as loud as some of our brothers are.
There you go. There are a couple of sisters who have groups on Facebook in some of the Caribbean islands, and they like, all right, y'all, I'm telling you what to expect when you come over here from these men. Now, if you don't listen, that's on you. But at the end of the day, you have been forewarned. So, you just can't lump everybody in. But if you're just going for a good experience and whatever fun means to you, whatever happiness means to you, I say go for it because life is too damn short. And I'm just not going to discount an experience just because somebody else had a bad one with it. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense to me.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
I don't care why you travel. Just go travel.
Get out there. I think if there was any one last message that either one of us could share with our combined audiences, it would be get your passport and go. I mean, you don't have to go to the other side of the world, but what you need to do is experience life outside these U.S. borders. What would you say?
I would say the same thing. And sisters, don't automatically think it's offensive because a lot of not to go back to the passport bros, but a lot of times they're talking to other men. They're not really the audience.
Okay,
right?
That's fair.
They're really advertising to other men to come join them.
Yeah.
Well, brother, you don't know what you're not experiencing because you're stuck in the States. Get your money up. If you got issues with getting a passport, clear those issues up.
Yes.
This is what you're missing.
Yes.
And for someone like me now who lived out the country for so long, I could actually come back. I think I could actually value more when I'm dating a sister.
Okay.
I think my experiences allow me now to make better choices. Also. So maybe you might go to come back.
Right. And find your queen. Because your mindset is different now. Your perspective is different. You had time to sit with yourself and really understand what's important to you fundamentally in a spouse, right? You've had time to shut out the noise and get into your inner standing, which is something that, you can't do when you're on that hustle and grind, that gerbil wheel in the United States. It's impossible to do it.
Something you said,
how much you zen your space out. You can't do it.
You can't. Something you said connected with me because I think that a solo traveler, and this is maybe not the glamorous side of it.
Yeah.
There's going to be long periods of time when you're by yourself.
Absolutely.
And I think that's when you learn what kind of person you are. And
100.
That's when you learn what you really want in life.
That's right.
And that's what you might learn what you want in a partner.
That's right.
So yeah, I was in Thailand partying every night, whatever. Okay, but from morning till the evening time, I'm by myself a lot of the time.
Yes.
So I get to really sit and, like you said, Zen. I know some people like to meditate, but you really get to be alone with yourself without the construct of I have to get up and go to work. I got this bill to pay. So you really wake up with a blank slate every morning.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, what do I like? What is my hobbies?
Right.
what is my favorite food? What if anyone else could be here with me right now, who would that person be?
Yes, yes.
You
And what
know, so
attributes would that person have? How first of all, my peace is non-negotiable. And I just got in touch with my inner peace over these past 5 years that I've been traveling, specifically the 3 that I've been a global nomad. Getting in touch with the inner diamond was very important to me. And that's the only way that you can show up for other people is once you have shown up for yourself in your true, authentic self. And you said, you might be by yourself, the majority of the day, whatever. I have changed that. I'm never by myself. I'm with myself because I now know me so well that I like being with myself. And that was a whole life switch for me, a whole mental, emotional switch. Like I always had to be doing something or with someone or part of a partnership. Now I really like being with Diamond. Like she bomb ass, whether we just journaling or whatever the case may be. I'm so in touch with me that now I can show up truly as myself for whomever I get in touch with. So my vibe comes across real easy because I'm in touch with her. I trust my intuition. She's the only thing I got to rely on in these international streets. I'm navigating by myself.
that and to
I
me
gotta
that
be in
builds
touch, deep touch with my intuition, because she's my real ride or die.
that to me is a character builder
Yeah.
because I was mentioning earlier about being able to problem solve and critically think.
Yes.
It's the glamour aside, there's situations where, like you said, you did a jump to go to
Ecuador.
Ecuador. No,
Yeah.
we was like your 89 day in EU, and you went to you
Oh
took a
yes,
ferry.
Morocco.
So in Asia, you might have to border jump every once in a while.
That's right.
That's how I end up going to Bali. I was like,
Okay.
oh man, I got my 60 days are up. I want
Yes.
to pick somewhere else to go. So now you're navigating multiple countries that you've never been before,
Mm-hmm.
that you may not know the language.
That's right.
What kind of character does a person have to do that?
Yes.
And if you didn't have the skill set, guess what? You're going to have it now.
Oh, you gonna learn today. I mean, you have to know how to navigate. It's interesting you say that because the first part of the year I did a challenge and I was house sitting with a sister girl of mine. And we were like, okay, can we make this work as a team? And we did. So for almost 6 months, we started in Panama, we went down to Guatemala, we did, from Guatemala, we did Colombia, then we hopped over to the EU. That's when, she was like, all right, I'm going back to the States, whatever. And I just continued on to Morocco, Puerto Rico, etc. But yeah, as a team, and I learned a different part of myself. Could I, after having been a solo traveler, could I share space? Could I share time with someone else on a regular basis? There were things that I discovered about myself during that almost 6 month period, but I wouldn't have had that introspection had I not taken the chance and said, yeah, I could do this as a team. And we house sat for a team and it was beautiful. But she said, I got a skill set that she didn't have. She was like, how do you keep all these pieces together? Whether we taking the bus from here or the train, whether it's a plane ride from this part of the country to the other part of the country. She relied on me to put all of that together because that was one of my strengths. And her strength was calm down, Diamond. Because I'm a recovering type A. I'll tell anybody I'm recovering type A. So every once in a while, she'd be like, nah, you need to put that down, come back to it, blah, 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 drop your shoulders. That was her thing, drop your shoulders. I see your tension, drop your shoulders. So it was a great trade-off and building character in an area that I thought maybe I no longer had because I wasn't interested in being part of a partnership anymore. I'm solo dolo, right? Proud about it, right?
So I'm glad you mentioned that. One more story I'm going to throw in here.
Throw it in.
So in my travel to Bali,
yeah,
I actually met another solo traveler from the States,
okay,
a young lady. We met at a beach club.
Uh-huh.
We end up traveling to Philippines, Vietnam, and Thailand.
Okay, how was that?
We know each other for maybe 2 days,
Beautiful.
and we kind of like you said, you know your skill sets.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was missing this particular kind of thing.
Okay.
She found accommodations in like all these high-end hotels. I never knew about this. I got introduced to the Conrad,
Yeah.
the Meridian, some other fancy smashy one, like real. Like I thought I was doing it big.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't know nothing about no concierge. I didn't know nothing about not buffet. All you can eat a la carte.
Yes.
I didn't
Yes.
know. I didn't know about they have not. I think it's called Champagne Time.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, "What's that?" I said, "Yeah, 6 o'clock. You go to this place and they bring different champagnes and wines for you to share, and there's desserts." I'm like, "What?
What?
What is
What?
this?" Right? So I needed that experience. So now, like I said, I'm like medium high end. Now I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, is there a Conrad here? How much it costs? Can
There
we
you
finagle
go.
that for a couple of days? You know? And she learned
It's
from
about
me
that exposure.
right. And she learned from me that, oh, there's Airbnbs that are cost effective that give similar experience. So
Yes.
we would alternate on booking the
Yeah.
locations.
I love
So
that. I love that. And that was like after meeting 2 days. You was like, let's just do this.
it was funny. I'm laughing about it right now. And we're still in touch. But it's
Yeah.
like that was some crazy ish to meet somebody
Hey.
in 2 days
Yeah.
and end up and literally share a room with them for like the next couple like we tried for like almost like 2 months.
See? See? Now, would that have happened in the United States, you think?
Hell no.
Hell no. Hell
That
no.
would never happen. That would never happen in the United States. I'd be like,
Right.
what? She's trying to get me killed or lined up.
Exactly. All the things are running through your mind. Like, again, you back to playing chess at this point, right? You're just not going with the flow. It's
I'll be
strategy at
suspicious.
that point.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
That's
That's
crazy.
awesome. Mm. See, international travel lets you get outside of your boundaries. It lets you experience things outside the conventional boxes that we put ourselves in, right? It allows you to open up to people that perhaps you would not have opened up to in any other scenario because y'all got that one thing in common. I'm I am traveling by myself in a country that I don't, it's not my homeland. So y'all got that commonality. Let's move with it. I love that. I love that. And I wouldn't have changed my first 5.5 months of this year with my girl Wendy for nothing in the world.
Mm.
Nothing in the world. She's the big sister, the older sister I never knew I needed or wanted.
Wow.
Seriously, I'm the oldest. So it was like, me proving and forging and, do the right thing because your siblings are behind you and you have to set the example and blah, blah, blah. And all that heaviness, all right, all that responsibility. I didn't even know I wanted an older sister until I got Wendy. And I was like, yo, this is lovely. I could unpack some things that she could understand from a different generational perspective. Some things that I had gone through in my family setting and with my mom and things like that. And she was like, well, you know what? That's really not your bag. And you wearing somebody else's shoes was, that was her favorite line to me. She was like, D, whose shoes you got on right now? And she would make me stop and think about stuff that if I was by myself, I would still be in my bag.
Mm.
I would not have been able to expand my thought process to maybe say, okay, I can understand it from this perspective or that perspective. So it was definitely a growth journey, again, that I didn't even know I needed, but I'm so grateful that I got it. And it sounds like you had a growth journey with this young lady for 2 months.
I listen. I never been on a hotel with a golf course before.
Get out of here.
So if it wasn't for her, I would never experience those things.
All right, that's what's
I wouldn't
up.
even. I wouldn't even think to even stay there.
You see, she done upped your game. She done leveled you up. That's wonderful.
It's a totally different. What I thought luxury was, I didn't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know what I was talking about,
And
and
that's the whole thing about international travel. You don't know what you don't know until you do it,
right.
right? Anything else is just based on what somebody else is saying. You have no clue what you're missing out on until you do it yourself.
You have no idea. It's like I can't even tell you. You have to experience it.
You
And
do
no matter how much we could tell you about it, until you have boots on the ground and
that
you
part.
see with your own eyes, you're
Yes.
not gonna understand.
And
So
embrace it with your own arms because it feels so good. You, like I said, I don't want to let it go. I just don't want to let it go. And obviously I'm not because I ain't bad.
listen, you don't gotta rub it in them. You don't gotta rub it in my face like
No,
that.
no, no, no. My next house sit is bringing me back to the States. Actually, I have great repeat clients. And so I'm going to swanky ass Marin County up there in California. Yeah,
Oh,
that's like outside of Sonoma and all the things.
nice.
So, yeah, it's a beautiful luxury house sit. And I'm going to do that. They invited me back for a month and a half. So, why wouldn't I go?
Beautiful. That's
So
you
you
know
see
what?
what I'm saying? I am
I might
committed to not spending money on housing. I'm just not
you
doing
know
it,
what?
dude.
I might have to take a second look at this thing.
See, you
Maybe
can come visit me on one of these house sits, and then that's gonna blow your mind. And then you're gonna be like, damn, what
listen,
I've been missing out
this
on.
was recorded. You just invited me to California. Just remember that. I catch. You can't tell people that because we catch flights like nothing.
That's what I'm saying.
The luggage
That's
already
how.
pre-packed.
Yep. That's how my girl Wendy, we had met in Ecuador and she was like, what do you do? What are you doing? I said, well, I'm an international house sitter. And she was like, well, what's that? So I invited her to California last year. And she
Mm.
came and saw how I was posted up. She was like, yo, this how you rolling? I'm like, this is how I'm rolling. And from that point, she was like, I think we could do this. So I want to try it out. So she started and we decided we was gonna spend the first 5 months together and the rest is history. It was a beautiful experience. So yeah, if I tell you to come through, come through. Because I don't invite people but one
You
time.
already told me come through. I'm coming. You just gonna tell me the date and the address. You
That's
didn't
what's
say
up.
nothing.
This has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much for agreeing to be my guest, my brother number two. I appreciate you teaching, putting me up on game as far as this technology is concerned. He said, don't worry about it, Diamond. I got everything behind the scenes. I'm going to put it up on the screen. I'm going to do this. And he is a man of his word. And I appreciate that. So I will say thank you
Yes,
again. Yes, it's been a pleasure.
we should do this again. I
We're going to do
think
this again.
I think we can co-host another one where I can ask you more questions. I know I'm supposed to be the guest, but I just love talking to you and I love your spirit and your perspective is definitely something that is needed in travel
Yeah.
because kind of like the travel and the men, we kind of stick together in like
Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
the black man travel manosphere,
Right.
blah, blah,
Right.
blah.
Right.
So I think it's good for us to like cross over and see different points of view of what the women are dealing with and hopefully make us better connected when we travel.
Absolutely. Like I said, I'm an intentional connector on every level, and Black men and Black women need to connect on different
every
levels, on everything, because
every different level.
we are stronger together. And as soon as we get that message, the world will change. I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you so much for having me. We should definitely do this again.
All right, it's a date. Thank
All
you.
right.
All right, peace and blessings, y'all.